Episode 45.
Assembly hall. Peter stood frozen. He tried to hide when Mono asked for volunteers. Peter didn't want to hurt Vorden. However, when Quinn moved to defend Vorden, Peter felt guilt wash over him. Why? Vorden was on that log because of Peter. The day before, Mono cornered Peter with a proposition. Help lure Vorden to the assembly hall, and Peter would be protected. Peter felt trapped. If he refused, they'd torture him. So what was the point in fighting back? Peter would be putting himself in danger for nothing. After their combat classes, Peter asked Vorden to go with him to the assembly hall. He said he wanted more practice with his Earth ability. When they entered the room, Mono jumped out with the other second years. When the ambush started, Vorden pushed Peter out of the way, protecting him. "Run. I'm sorry, this is all my fault." Vorden assumed they'd targeted him because of his secret attacks. He'd been picking off Mono's crew one by one, trying to weaken his gang. Peter ran out of the room, only to return later with everyone else. When he saw Quinn stand up to the second years, Peter felt a pang of guilt in his heart. Quinn and Vorden were Peter's only friends, and Peter had betrayed them. Peter decided to make things right. He waited until everyone was busy with the chaos of the battle. Then Peter snuck out of the assembly hall. Meanwhile, at the center of the room, Layla and Aaron confronted the level 4s. The first years had spread out, avoiding crossfire. Most of them were too afraid to pick a side. If they backed the wrong one, they'd suffer for it. The second years talked among each other. "Do you mind taking the Ice Queen? My water ability is weak against her." The other second year smirked. "I get it. You want to fight the level 2 girl. Whatever. Just finish her off quickly." The second years charged. The water user went after Layla. The earth user lunged at Aaron. As the earth user slammed his foot down, a spiked mound surged toward Aaron. Aaron remained calm. As the spike came towards her, she slashed with her sword. In a single stroke, she cut the spike in half. The earth user was stunned. Aaron's blade cut through his skill like it was butter. How strong was she? Aaron formed an ice spear and threw it towards her opponent. The earth user lifted his arms, raising a wall of rocks. It blocked the ice spear. The earth user moved his hands, splitting the wall in half so he could see Aaron. However, the girl was gone. The earth user felt cold running up his legs. He looked down to see ice forming around his pants. He began to panic. Aaron shook her head, walking from behind him. "For a second year, you are incredibly weak." Aaron whacked him in the back of the head with the hilt of her sword. As he fell, she froze his limbs to the ground. He wouldn't be getting up again. The first years watched, amazed. How had she won so easily? Shouldn't a match between a level 4 and a level 5 be closer than that? And weren't the second years supposed to be strong fighters? One of the first years finally voiced what they were all thinking. Maybe they aren't as strong as we all thought. Aaron knew the truth. Ability levels didn't matter if the person lacked combat intelligence. It didn't matter how strong the ability or powerful the punch was if the person couldn't land a single blow. Aaron had always been gifted at combat, so she had the upper hand. Layla's fight wasn't so simple. As an archer, she was built for ambushes and long-range battles. Layla didn't have either option at the moment. The water user blocked all of her arrows with his water skills. After a while, Layla got tired. The water user sent a water blast, hitting her in the gut. Layla flew back towards Vorden. The water user ran after her. Layla tried to get to her feet, but was too weak. Vorden licked his lips, looking at her. "Free me. I can deal with him. No problem." Layla blinked. "What?" Vorden grinned. "Come on. We don't have much time. Touch my leg." Layla hesitated for a moment. She still remembered when he choked her the day before. Layla wanted nothing to do with Vorden, but she had no choice. She crawled over to Vorden, touching his leg. The shackles around Vorden's limbs shook. Vorden glared at her. "Come on, help me!" Vorden was using her telekinesis, but it wasn't strong enough. Layla raised her hand, pushing with all her might. Together, they broke the restraints. Vorden rotated his wrist, as if he were getting used to his body. Vorden shook his limbs out, jumping up and down. Vorden smiled like a little kid. Finally, I get to come out. It's been a long time. The water user slowed, noticing Vorden. The second year remembered fighting Vorden in the same hall. At the time, Vorden only had Peter's level 1 Earth ability, but he was still a menace. Vorden laughed, wild and unhinged. Then he charged at the second year. Caught off guard, the water user panicked. He fired 2 water blades at Vorden, sharp enough to cut steel. Vorden didn't even slow his stride. He jumped into the air, bending his body in weird angles to avoid the blades. Without even looking, Vorden lifted 2 beast stones off the ground telekinetically. He shot the 2 stones at the water user. The water user blocked both attacks easily. He raised a wall of water ahead of him. But something slammed into the back of the water user's leg. He dropped to one knee. His other leg couldn't hold his weight. Blood ran down his pants. The second year looked up. Vorden, still in front of him, hands raised. Then came a second impact. The water user's other ankle cracked. While the water user's attention stayed focused, Vorden manipulated the stones from behind him. The water user had focused on the obvious threat, but he'd never even considered a second one. Vorden lifted his hands. 2 beast stones hovered in the air over the water user. The second year lowered his head. Please, don't. I yield. Vorden brought his hands down swiftly. The stones came crashing down, breaking the second year's forearm. The student screamed in pain. His arms were mangled. He could no longer use his water ability. Vorden laughed in pure glee. Finally, I, Raten, have returned.